Wow.
Can we have super awesomeness, please?
Super awesomeness. We'll have to learn about that another day. We'll have to bring Avinash back. Thank you, Avinash. Just when you think you're doing a good job, someone comes along to tell you how much you suck, and that's great. It's good for us. It's absolutely good for us. Now, just to wrap up, we've been on a journey this afternoon through the digital lens. We talked about the 4 I's, and I just want to reflect on a few of the things that we've learned along the way. We talked a little bit about insights, and just trying to pull out a few threads from this afternoon. You remember Andy talking about getting the fundamentals right, just like John Martin did in the 1940s, but bringing them bang up to date, and insight being a critical part of that. Then we saw Derek, and Derek, he brought you a great example of insight being brought bang up to date, new tools that can do that. And as you saw, Avinash is passionate about using that data as insight too. So digital insight's massively important, and any of the organisations that we've been working with that are truly changing culture from thinking about digital as a specialist subject to actually really weaving digital throughout the fabric of the organisation have started with insight, because insight is the start of marketing. We talked about ideas, and we've heard some really interesting, sometimes provocative thoughts about ideas today. We heard that the best advertising isn't advertising anymore. So what is it? We tell stories in different ways. Andy said that you need flair. You just need that genius, that it's still just as important as it ever was. And actually, as we come up with ideas, we need to think about pinball and not about bowling. And in fact, if you think about Selina's example, she had some objectives which were not really digital. She wanted to make a film famous. She wanted to get guys talking. She wanted to get her consumers involved. Those were not digital objectives. But the ideas that she came up with were inspired by what was possible in the digital space. And really, when we see stories which are really working in the digital space, we're seeing all of that come to life. Stories that don't necessarily have a beginning and a middle and an end. Stories that are different for different people. Implementation was our 3rd I. And I think a great quote from today was, great execution can survive dodgy strategy, however the opposite is not the case. And I think Selina really reinforced that point as well. We also heard that every time you use Flash on a website, a puppy dies. Remember that. And once again, the models for how we actually implement and for how you create ads, how you create and buy media, those are all changing. We talked a lot about biddable media, for instance, during the agency debate. And this is revolutions in the way that things are being implemented. And then what of our 4th I on impact? Well, I have to defer to Avinash's last session, I think, on that one. How can we regain the respect of our CEOs? How do we prevent them from continuing to call us fluffy? Think about that line of sight model. Think about price. Let me see if I've got this right. Price, cost, share, and size. Excellent. And to all of you, I encourage you to challenge us at Google and challenge us in the digital industry to tell us what our new monkeys can do for you. We should be doing that, right? Now, of course, for all of us to do this well, the organisation, the people are massively important, and we've heard lots on that as well. In the agency debate, big theme around coaching talent being critical, having the right people. We need a new breed of individual who are able to span the gap between the online and the offline, between the digital and the traditional, who see it truly as one world. So there are no boundaries anymore. We're seeing that in the agency world. We even heard that we perhaps have engineers being recruited into that space as well. And to quote Avinash, we need ninjas. We need ninjas everywhere. Ninjas client side, ninjas agency side. So let's go out and find them. And get them to work together. I think Andy said we must demand collaboration across all of our disciplines, and that has to be critical. Perhaps most important, though, is the spirit and the culture within which this is done. We heard just now, learn to fail fast. Empower the crazies. Do you have crazies? Empower them. And Andy said to us this morning, if you don't jump, somebody else will, and then you're toast. So, if it takes 10% of the budget on experimentation, go for it. So, just to reiterate, there's never been a better time to be in marketing. Go for it. Embrace change on all 4 of the I's. Embrace change on insight, on how you generate ideas, on how you implement, and how you measure the impact. Don your digital specs. Be brave. Try new things. Don't fear failure, and learn fast. I'm sure that we'll be telling much better stories next year than we've ever done so far in the last 12 or 24 months. So go and write your story. It's going to be an exciting next 12 months. Thank you very much. Just before we go, I wanted to say thank you again to all of the speakers today. If we could have one more round of applause for all of our speakers today. And also to the many, many organisers who have supported today, from the Google marketing team, the crew, everyone from King's Place. Thank you once again to all of them. Now, your day is not over yet. Please do join us for drinks and dinner and a little bit of music if you possibly can. We'd love to have a chat. See you outside.